Hello there, From17 once again. This is another Dark Souls 2 patch notes video, and I'm going to be going over the changes and tweaks that are going to be taking place in this game with version 1.06. So all of the information that I'm going to be prescribing here to you is essentially taken from Reddit. There's a lovely thread that I'm going to link that has the original Japanese text, it has the Namco Bandai official translations, and then it has it all listed and all the information given to you in a very concise and single place. However, this is a very big patch note, so there's going to be some information I'm going to miss because I just can't read all of them all. This will be a 20-minute completely pedantic video when you can read them yourself, but I'm going to go over the bits that are important. So the patch tweaks will be taking effect during a maintenance mode on Friday, July the 18th, and following that on the 22nd of July will be the first piece of DLC that is dropping. So let's look into what is getting tweaked here, and I do apologise if you can hear some of my mouse clicks because this is a very long thread. But it says it's going to be version 1.6 regulation 1.8, and it will be Steam version 1.4 regulation 1.8 on PC. So here is the big list of what is going to be happening here, folks. We've got fixed abnormal amounts of damage being caused by certain weapons. No idea what that is, it's obviously a good thing. An upper limit has been set to the number of souls a player can earn when fighting off invading players. This to me seems kind of strange because the souls that you received on this game seemed kind of ridiculously low in my opinion, so I'm not too sure what those tweaks are or what they'll prove to be. So I'm sure somebody can enlighten me on exactly what that tweak is meant to fix. Then we have fixed the phenomenon where player is not able to talk to Lycia of Lindelt, obviously a good thing. Fixed the progression stopping phenomenon at Hyde's Tower when the host falls off right before the Dragon Rider boss fight, that is a good thing. And then it goes on to list a lot of these instances here, guys, so I'm not going to bore you with the full thing. You can read it should you choose to. It's a ton of stuff that can randomly and rarely happen in Majula, a couple of things involving, you know, Laddersmith Gilligan, some poison stuff happening with the windmill. It's a lot of, you know, PvE problems that they're hopefully getting rid of. So there's loading screen problems, there's certain save data cannot be reloaded problems, pretty severe stuff, and it's a good job they've got rid of it. But the next one is a big one. Fix the ability to use parry while backstepping. This is a massive one for PvP because a lot of people are incredibly frustrated at this mechanic and that it was discovered and that it worked so effectively as it did. They've made it now, I assume, that it can't be done, so that will get rid of a lot of that. They've also fixed the ability to use parry while invincible. So I'm assuming this is you cannot have active parry frames when you have invulnerability frames, which means it's going to coincide with the previous point and make that completely obsolete. So these are good things, these are useful things. I hope they don't bite them in the arse, because I don't really know how the iframes are calculated on Dark Souls, but no doubt there will be other instances where you get them, and if that would stop you from being able to parry, that could, you know, jeopardize certain techniques, but I can't see it being too bad, and if it is, they've probably thought of it and they're hopefully making it ripple on and not have too much of an effect. But there's some some kind of weird ones. A phenomenon where player floats in the air, if attacked while hanging onto a rope, which I've never seen and probably never will. Some weird things involving Duke's Dear Freya. A couple of more interesting stuff that happens PvE wise. A couple of sound effects things getting fixed. Fixed the jumping shortcut at the Shrine of Winter. This one's strange because I was under the impression that this was already patched. You had to remove the patch to do this, because I remember watching the speedrunner guy do it. Is it Lobos? And you could only do it on vanilla, so I'm not too sure if somebody's found something else, but apparently it is now fixed. So some more phenomenons involving summon signs, involving the Iron Keep, nothing too, some message deletion stuff, some halberd sound effects, adjusting the sound made when the Silver Eagle kite shield is hit, kind of strange. So this is really important, this one. The problem with this list of stuff is, you know, you lose out on some of the really important changes because there's a lot of just tiny and not all that far-reaching changes, but this one is massive. It says fix the issue where the player holding thrusting weapons in both hands can cause continuous damage until the opponent's stamina runs out. I'm not too sure what this is, but this sounds a hell of a lot like the almost infinite stun locks that you could do with thrusting weapons. So the thing that confuses me, it might be a translation thing, as it says until the opponent's stamina runs out, and I don't know if that means there was some kind of bug where you could keep doing it when they had stamina, but I think it means you can't just, you know, infinitely stun lock with thrusting weapons. I could be wrong, but that's the way I took it, and I'm hoping that's the way it's being received, because that could be really big. If not, that's probably some kind of weird bug, which I've never heard of, and I'm sure someone else has had. But fix the phenomenon where the player dual-wield whips and only the right-hand weapon hits the enemy. I've used dual-wield whips quite a lot, and I don't remember ever having this, so it must have been quite rare. This is massive. Adjustments were made so players can get out of the continuous attacks from Cyan's halberd. Anyone who used that weapon knows two-handed that monster was an endless stun lock. I'm glad it's not anymore. Adjustments were made so players can get out of the continuous attacks from a player who is dual-wielding with the straight sword and with the red rust sword in their left hand. So apparently that was a combination that enabled you to do these continuous stun locks. It's now been fixed. Defender Greatsword can be enchanted. We already knew that kinda, because you could do it with its secondary feature, but I assume that means we can now put buffs on it, which, you know, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, who knows. I assume it's the consumables, because you could buff stuff like that before, I believe. I may be wrong, it's been a while since I've played Dark Souls 2, guys, I'm having a little bit of space from it. But fixed the phenomenon where a heavy attack while holding Pate's spear with both hands produces only one hit. No idea what that is, but it's fixed. Adjusted the strong attack of the Spider Silk when dual wielding. No idea what that one is. This is interesting. Lucerne's strong attack will penetrate shields, so Lucerne now has the ability to do a shortle type attack. Corrected the description of a handful of weapons. Fixed symbols on the name engraved ring. Some improper text not being displayed has been fixed. Correction to the amount of damage inflicted against other players and enemies. So that's a pretty small point, but a pretty big thing. I don't know how wide scale that will be, but that sounds, you know, kind of important. I wish there was a little bit more information on that. Shorten the amount of time stunned when taking damage from multiple attacks. That can only be a good thing. So, adjustments that will be made with regulations. So those were the patches, these are the regulations changing. Health recovery items can no longer be used during any PvP. That seems pretty important, that seems pretty crazy. But does the Estus Flask count? That is my question. Is it classed as an item, or is it something else? I'm not too sure. If that is the way it reads, that means you can no longer heal in PvP, which, to me, is the best news this game could have received. That could be amazing. At the same time, could that be changing what the game is? And I know it's funny for somebody like me, one of the biggest advocates against healing, but at the same time, a lot of people consider Dark Souls PvP and invasions to be free-for-alls. They see the joy and the awesomeness of them is the fact that it's, you know, it's Thunderdome. So this could, as much as there's going to be a ton of people that love this, there could be a lot of people that don't. That could be really divisive. I wonder how it's going to be implemented. It might just be things like divine blessings and all those other shit like life gems and stuff, but it could be everything. So only spells will enable you to do that, and we'll see a massive increase of people rocking heal spells and warmth. Increase the matching range for users in online play. I wish that said we got rid of shitty soul memory, but it doesn't. It means they're doing something with soul memory, but they don't want to tell you what because they can't admit that it's a shit mechanic. And I understand it, they're sticking to the guns, but we all wish it was different. Overall balance adjustments made to weapons, armors, accessories and spells. It doesn't go into any more detail than that, but that seems like a pretty big thing. Oh sorry, it does go into details. And here we have them. So I'm not going to read all of these because there's a shit ton, but I'm going to give you a general overview. The first one is modifications made to main components and spells. Increased the durability and lowered the defense levels of the following armor sets. There's a lot of armor here that's took a hit. Havel's, obviously. Pretty much think every good piece of armor has took a hit with the looks of this. I'm going to link this for you to check so you can see them specifically, but just know, the most popular armor sets and some of the ones that were the better ones have been nerfed. I don't know why they wouldn't put the other ones up, maybe? Increase all the rest? Maybe this was the greater of two evils, but apparently they've decided to get rid of these. Increase the damage of special single attack moves on the following weapons. Bandit Knife, Mannequin Knife. Not too sure how much that's going to take much of an effect, but it could make them more viable. And then it's increase the attack power of the following weapons. Once again, folks, this is a massive list of weapons. Think about a lot of the daggers, a lot of the rapiers, a lot of the scimitars, a lot of the curved weapons, a lot of the everythings. Like, they've pretty much made everything that you thought that should have been stronger, stronger. And I have no idea how much by, which is terrifying, but also awesome. So only time will tell if that is a foolish mistake, or if it's the best thing to happen to this game since, you know, omnidirectional rolls. But it says decrease the amount of attack power on the following weapons. This is kind of shorter, so I can read these. Dranglake Sword, Defender Greatsword, Large Club, Strong Attack Only, Pickaxe, Strong Attack Only, Great Club, Strong Attack Only, and Gurm, Great Hammer, Strong Attack Only. And do you see the the theme there? It's that same move, that same immensely powerful pancake and then follow up crazy swing move, which if you do hit somebody with it is insanely strong, so they've kind of taken that away. Never really used Dranglake Sword, don't like the two-handed moveset. Apparently it was good. Defender Greatsword we all know is very powerful, so that makes sense, especially because it's like a passive buff on itself and now can be buffed. It makes a lot of sense. Increase the status values of the following weapons. So this is really cool. I assume this to mean they've increased how much poison, how much bleed, how much that kind of stuff they do, which they needed to because that stuff was dog shit. I haven't seen anything yet that's mentioning we're going to fix the scaling and make elemental weapons less of an impetus, but, you know, that would be dream territory right there. So this is essentially a list of curved weapons. And I wonder if this has anything to do with when you reinforce them and you put bleed on them, because with the look of this, I can see a lot that have bleed, I can see a few that don't, so maybe they have magic attacks and they've increased what they do. It's too vague to really tell, guys. Then at the bottom we have decreased the durability of the Defender's Greatsword and Watcher's Greatsword. So it looks like they're trying to balance out the strength of these weapons and they're now, you know, feasibility with buffing it by making it a little bit more flimsy. Increased enchantment statistics for Defender Greatsword and Watcher Greatsword. I don't know if that means the buff it puts on itself or other buffs you put on it. And it doesn't really... Is it the attack scaling that's increased? Is it the duration scaling? Is it some other scaling? It's not as clear as I would like. Increase the weight of the Defender Greatsword. So this sword is getting really hit with everything. Durability, it's been buffed and nerfed. Is it really that prevalent? I know it's powerful, I've used it myself, but I didn't see that many of it. Maybe there's been this epidemic while I've been missing. But they've decreased the weight of the Butcher's Knight and the Old Knight Halberd. That makes sense. Status value added to Handmaiden's Ladle. What the fuck does that mean? Instant death. That'd be great. It'd be terrifying, but great. Decrease the amount of damage for the following weapons. This is all the big stuff, and it's pretty much dual wielding or strong attacks. So any big maces, any big hammers, pretty much taking a dive here. If you want to see all the detailed list, click the link in the description. But increase the amount of self-inflicted damage when using the Chaos Blade. Why? I don't get that. Like, the self-inflicted damage is one of the biggest things stopping people using the Chaos Blade, and which is a lot of new players dismiss it for even being viable because of it. Why would they increase it? The strength of the Chaos Blade didn't seem to really be that powerful in this game compared to the last one. The reach is good, the moveset is not as good as some of the other ones, so I'm curious, has Chaos Blade become a thing? Which sucks because it's the weapon I wanted to main, because I wanted to stay true to my favourite weapon in Dark Souls. That sucks. I hope it's nothing too crazy, and if it is, it better have got some kind of buff. But adjusted the hit detection for the Scythe of Want's strong attack. I believe that's that crazy spin move. Not too sure. Maybe it's that one where it gets stuck in the ground and it doesn't work. That could be useful. Increase the physical cut rate of the shield crossbow. I have no idea what that means. Changes were made to the point of explosion and blast area of the old sun ring. So this ring just keep on getting hit in these changes. I have no idea if what they've changed makes it lesser or better. I hope it's better, because it's one of those rings that balances out the fact that Stunlock is the only way to play this game. And I know a lot of people hate it, and there's good reason for that, but until they put in something that enables you to use skill to get out of R1 spam, then the old Sun Ring will never be cheap in my opinion. Changes made to the effect of Gower's Ring of Protection. Does not negate damage anymore, will reduce damage received. That is massive. Gower's was broken. Clinically broken in every conceivable way, but broken in a way that I kind of admired and enjoyed. At the same time, still broken. So they've taken steps here to make it less crazy. I would have liked to have seen a decrease in its weight, because all I see now is a ring that people probably won't use. It'll all live and die by how much damage it reduces. Interesting. Improvements made to the penetrability of Soul Speak. Maybe that's meant to be Spear. And Crystal Soul Spear. Yeah, it must be Spear. Somebody's got a typo here. So that's obviously a good thing. Improvements made to the tracking of following spells, hexes, pyromancy, and miracles. So this makes no sense to me. The spell tracking never had a problem with it. The attack tracking had a problem with it since the goddamn E3 build. Why are they making spells better, yet fundamental attacks miss even when you aim them? I will never understand this, and I'm baffled. And the list of the spells here, there's Resonant Soul on this, for Christ's sake. How many times do you miss with that? I've used it a lot. The only times you miss is when they roll. That simple. This motherfucker doesn't need any more help. It makes no sense. Decrease the amount of stamina consumed for the following spells: Soul Bolt, Soul Shower, Fire Orb, Great Fireball, Great Chaos Fireball, Lingering Flame, and Iron Flesh. That could be cool, I'm not too sure. Increase the spell usage for the following spell and miracle: Cast Light and Unveil. Who the hell uses Cast Light or Unveil? No one. Awesome. Improvements to durability, damage for the following spells: Shockwave and Soul Spear Barrage. Could be useful, can't really tell. Decrease the number of multi-hits to the following spells: hexes and pyromancies: Soul Vortex, Firestorm, Fire Tempest, Chaos Storm, Scraps of Life, Life Drain Patch, and Dark Storm. That is massive. And strange as well, because a lot of these spells, except for that Life Drain Patch, which is insane, these spells are 100% luck. Luck and bullshit. You can do a Fire Tempest and have more chances of hitting somebody who's 50 feet away from you than you do somebody stood right next to you, because the pillars are random, the hit detection is random, the damage, registry is all over the place. So to lower the capacity for multi-hits seems kind of strange. It's a good thing in the grand scheme of things because it makes those moves less bullshitty, but at the same time, that's really the only thing they had going for them. So that's very strange. Decrease the attack power of the following miracle: Blinding Bolt. So I think this was a move people were sleeping on. I saw hardly anyone using it, and then somebody used it against me in the arena as a rushdown method. And it was really effective because it was nowhere near me, and it was hitting me. So that makes sense. Maybe somebody realised that there's something to that spell, and they lowered it a little bit. So decrease the number of attunement slots required for Unveil and Immolation. Who uses Immolation? It's a fantastic idea, but you either have to be supremely skillful or insane to go near that move. I just don't know which one. Decrease the number of uses for the following: Lightning Spear, Great Lightning Spear, Sunlight Spear, Emit Force, Solar Peas, really? Great Resonant Soul, and Profound Still. Don't understand that. Don't think I've ever really had a problem with how many times they could throw shit at me. It was just I try to punish their casting speed and they recover quicker than I swing, because every animation on this game involving a weapon is slow as fuck to come out. Increase the damage for the following miracle through correction to status values. I wish I knew what they mean when they say that. Lightning Spear, Great Lightning Spear, Sunlight Spear, and Emit Force. So maybe that's the amount of elemental defense versus how powerful it is to you, because they all seem to be kind of, you know, miracle-y focused. Increase the hit radius for the Miracle Force. That could be cool. I really like Force, and it actually has the same cast as Wrath of Gods, which I miss. I love that cast. Increase the effectiveness of the following. Iron Flesh, Whisper of Despair, which has had duration and effect. Decrease the self-inflicted damage of Immolation. See, now this is making a little bit more sense. They're trying to make Immolation viable for kind of a Berserker build. That could be cool. It has to have... Man, I don't even understand how it works. I've used it a little bit. I've never used it in PvP. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just make a balls-to-the-wall Glass Idiot build and see how that works with the new Immolation mechanic. Increase the speed of castings for Repel, Twisted Barricade, that needed it. Decrease the amount of durability damage done from Dark Hail. Increase the Increase the attacking power of Great Resonant Soul. Does that mean when they nerfed it, they've now made it better again? Or does that just literally mean they've just buffed it? Why did it need buffing? Was it really so bad post-nerf? I don't understand. Very strange. Decrease character mobility while using the following items: Amber Herb, Twilight Herb, and Wilted Dusk Herb. So in other words, they don't like the ability for mages to run away while chomping grass. It makes a lot of sense. Never really had a problem with it. Seems like a strange thing to twist. But there you go, folks. That is a very detailed list of the 0.1.6 version patch notes. If you want the full list of it, check the link in the description. How do you feel? Dark Souls 2 needs a lot of work, and it's clear that From know this, and they're working. But I can't say I think they're working on the right things. But I don't know. I guess we'll see, and only time will tell. But thank you very much for listening. Hopefully this helps you and helps some of your grievances with the game. But as I've said, time will tell. And I'm sure the forums will be alive with the sound of bitching if they don't. But you take care now.